Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Rabid Radicals. To everyone groaning at last episode's outro message, you people knew this video was coming. To everyone who is confused as to why the Undertale Fandom ended up as episode 2 of the series, keep watching. Your faith in humanity will crash and burn just like mine did while doing research for this. Please bear in mind while watching that what I do say in this video does not apply to all members of the fandom, just those who choose to represent it irresponsibly through their actions. So now, without any further ado, here's what I've got. To everyone who has been living under a rock for the past 3 years, Undertale is an indie RPG game developed by Toby Fox. The game features a human protagonist who climbs a mountain and falls down a hole into a world of monsters. The story is just the character trying to get back home, and all the friends or enemies they make along the way. The player will have to battle several characters and can either choose to kill them, or spare their lives and possibly befriend them. Their actions in these battles affect the story and can net the player one of 3 endings. The 3 paths the player can take are commonly referred to as the pacifist route, the neutral route, or the genocide route. Each route reveals different parts of the whole story, some story elements being unattainable if you stick to just one. However, not all the fandom's problems are within the game itself. More on that in a little bit. For now, let's address the elephant in the room. Now, before everyone gets their panties in a bunch, I'm going to start off this part by saying this. All fandoms have fan art within the fandom. Also, if it exists, there's likely porn of it for your viewing pleasure. Drawings, music, writing samples, and other forms of art fall under this category. Undertale's fandom is hailed for its share of terrible artwork, as many fandoms are, but when does it actually become a problem, and when does it start scaring people? Where do you draw the line? If I had to have my pick, it would definitely be the part where you ship characters who are very obviously siblings, along with figuratively tearing each other apart over simple things such as a character's gender. The incest part applies to many fandoms, but the Sands of Papyrus artwork featuring this are a close second to Rick and Morty, another fandom I might cover in the future. The scariest part here isn't the shoddy artwork made by trolls to either poke fun at or mess with the fandom. It's the people who spend hours on their stuff, put lots of detail and effort into it, and are serious about the pairing. It's one thing if it's an obvious joke or drawing commission, but if it's a serious piece on your part, consider counseling. The gender debate concerning Frisk and Kara, respectively, is another thing I don't understand. They're gender ambiguous for a reason. Nobody's interpretation of either character is wrong. What the hell are these people fighting over? What's the point? Another thing I feel the need to address are the fangirls, aka the people who spam their obsession for their favorite character in literally every place it doesn't belong. Every fandom has them, but Undertale fangirls are a close second to supernatural and creepypasta ones. They'll fight over pairings, whose favorite is better, anything goes. These are also often children in their tween years, children who at this age should not be posting their OTP smut online in places it shouldn't be. Where are their parents, and why are they allowed to draw and post this stuff on their public profiles? It's bad enough that this stuff is done by kids with little to no experience, or worse, adults with little to no experience. It's the latter of the two I have the biggest issue with. Just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Now we get into the darker aspects of this fandom, the toxicity, bullying, and abuse this fandom is known for. If there are any streamers or Let's Players in the audience, this segment is for you. You've probably received endless requests to play it when the fandom was at its worst. Hell, prior to making this video in particular, I stayed away from this game due to the fandom alone. I hadn't played the actual game until I made this video. Why, might you ask? It's the way the fandom treats its fellow gamers, artists, and outsiders to the fandom. Let's get the big one out of the way first. Markiplier's Let's Play. He stopped after 2 episodes, eventually returning to them, due to complaints from viewers and fans who didn't like how he was playing the game, among other things they complained about. He wanted to do the genocide route, while the fans wanted him to do the pacifist route instead. I've even heard from a lot of reliable sources that Let's Players and streamers receive death threats over killing specific characters in their playthroughs. Yes, you've heard that correctly, you're not crazy. Fanatics of the game will actually threaten people over not playing the game correctly. You don't even have to be a big community figure to receive this shtick. They've harassed fellow members of the fandom, accusing them of being terrible people, even going so far as to compare people who did the genocide or neutral run to serial killers and child abusers. It's a game, people. Calm your tits. If you're gonna compare somebody to a serial killer or child abuser, you better have done actual research on both of those things. It takes more than completing a freaking game to diagnose actual mental issues.
When will you learn?
Speaking of mental issues, artists getting cyberbullied or attacked at conventions, and people's approval and advocation for it is just sickening. If you're okay with harassing people for liking or disliking a simple game title or series, or for making artwork you yourself don't like, you don't belong on the internet, you belong in a padded cell. And to build off the point of harassment, I'd like to give a nice middle finger to anyone who will harass their friends to play the game when they might not even either have the funds, the time, or interest in doing so. They are not obligated to like something just because you do. I can tell you from experience that it ruins the fandom's reputation as a whole. It's bad enough that the game's fandom already makes themselves sound like a bunch of mentally unstable religious zealots. We don't need them pestering us to play the game too. In fact, riding one's ass like that just makes them 200% less likely to do something. I will go so far as to say that behavior like this is exactly why when someone says they like Undertale, they get crapped on for it. If you're not an animal who has recently escaped captivity, try this. Don't harass clearly psychotic fangirls. Don't outright give them a reason to maul your account to death. If they start to harass you, block and report any and all accounts they use. Don't just block them, report them too. If you see artwork you yourself don't like and it actually breaks the site's terms of service, just report it and keep scrolling. Don't even give it your attention if it's allowed by the site. It's not worth it. With all madness aside, what's the conclusion here? As far as the game's concerned, Undertale is amazing. The story is cool, the characters are hilarious, and I highly recommend it. The crazy people in the fandom just suck. It's just like feminism from last episode. It's a good thing given a bad rap by stupid people not using their brains. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you saw and wish to see more like it. Be sure to also join the channel's Discord server or follow me on Twitter, as both are linked down below, and I'll see you guys in the next installment. Take care!